What's up? I'm gonna talk about a book called Devil on My Heels. Pretty crazy story. So, it starts off about a kid named Louis Zamperini. He's an Italian kid, Italian household, and as a kid, he was messing up a lot. He was going down the wrong path. He would run away. He would do all this bad stuff. Um, but his brother was an athlete, a runner, and his brother was like, "Why don't you come run with me?" And Louis gave it a shot, and then Louis ended up being a high school star. He ended up being so good that he got scholarships to some schools in Southern California. I forgot what school specific, but he was good. He was really good. He was so good that he made it to the Olympics. Like, he ran for the United States, so he had a lot of potential. But the story gets good when it talks about how when he joined the army, he was a pilot, and when he was a pilot, he went on a rescue mission to save some of his soldiers, some of the fellow soldiers. And when they were outside looking for them, his plane was shut down. And when he got shut down, he was underwater. He was stuck in the seatbelt, and he said he passed out, and he doesn't remember how he woke up. He said it was like a miracle, and he remember saying, like, from that, like, he didn't really believe in God, but after that he was like, oh, like, he believed in God because he believed in somehow a miracle, because he passed out and he woke up, and he was free. So from there was, I think there was more than 6 people on the plane with them, and only 3 survived, including Louis. And when he was on the raft, one of the survivors, he was very weak-minded, but Louis was opposite. The weak-minded guy was like, "Oh, we're gonna die here. We're not gonna make it." And Louis was opposite, but that one guy, he was so, like, desperate that he ate all the food, and they were trying to ration it to make it last, but that guy messed it up all. He messed it up, and then they were on the raft for, I think it was at least 40 days, and then a plane came, and then Louis and the other guy. Oh, cause the guy that ate all the food, he ended up dying because he was so weak-minded. So Louis and the guy are the only survivors, and they see a plane, and then when the plane is coming to them, it starts shooting at them, and then that's when Louis realized that it was a Japanese plane, and then they when they're shooting at him, he remembered that you gotta be 5 feet underwater so bullets don't penetrate. So he was 5 feet underwater, but when he was in the water, some sharks came and it just made the situation a whole lot crazier. He ended up fighting them off or something. I don't know how he did it, but he ended up surviving. He was back on the raft with the other guy. They both made it, and then when they got back on the raft, they were there for a while, and then they were on there for at least a couple more days. They're just in the middle of the ocean, and then a boat pulled up. They see a big boat, and then they get all happy, like, finally rescued. But it turns out it's a Japanese boat. Now, the Japanese boat, the people, they treated them pretty good, but since it was war, they got sent to a camp, and they're POWs. And he said the conditions when he was a POW were insane. He talks about a sadist. That's a person that gets pleasure from giving pain. His name, they call him the Bird. Like, he said the Bird was so evil that, like, no name could, no name could be a statement for how it was. That so many of his people died. Like, the Bird was crazy. The conditions but Louis, the main thing about Louis was he was always optimistic. He always thought he was gonna get out of there alive, and he was always positive, and he always gave little stories of how, I can't say all of them, but one I remember was that he was in the camp. He got out of his cage and he was in the kitchen because he got a little bit of food. And when he was in the kitchen, a guard saw him, and but the guard, like, Louis got so, like, he got so many lucky situations, and this one the guard didn't snitch him out. And if I think he got snitched out, he would have been beaten really hard, or he might have been killed. But he didn't get snitched on, so Louis was just lucky. But time passed on. He survived. He got moved from camp away from the bird, but then turns out the bird came back. It was just a crazy story. And then he endures it all. World War II is over. The United States invades Japan. And then Louis gets rescued. And then after he gets rescued, the book just talks about how he changed his life. He's more of a religious man. He gives people. He even searched out for the guard that didn't snitch him. He thanked them. He tried to help him cut his time from prison, because after World War II they got trialed and all that. And he even Louis, like, changed his life so much that after this story he went face to face with the bird, because the bird, like, nobody knew what happened to him. He did his research. He found out where he was. He met up with him, and excuse me, he forgave the bird. Like, Louis Zamperini was a crazy guy. His life was a movie. I actually made a movie. I don't know if you know, but the movie is called Unbroken. I definitely recommend reading this book. I don't know if I said the story, like, enthusiastically, but trust me, reading this book makes you say, damn. So yeah, I was about 7 minutes into the video. I'll see if I do another video, another book soon. Late.